Good afternoon, children. So the continuation part of the lesson, Two Gentlemen of Verona. As we have studied in the previous class, that the author, the writer, A.J. Cronin, introduced two boys here, and whose profession is to sell the fruits on the roadsides that we have seen. They were on the outskirts of Verona and seen selling the fruits to the passengers or the people who travel along that route. And they were selling the wild strawberries and bright scarlet berries. So they used to carry them in their wicker baskets, and they look very fresh. Okay, and this was the thing that we have seen in the previous class. And your students, further, page number 102. Don't buy one loogie or cautious driver. So the first character here we have is Mr. Loogie, who is a driver to the author's car here. Who is that? Mr. Loogie. Okay, author's driver. A cautious driver, you will get fruit much better in Verona. Yes, this is the attitude of Rudy here, and who is a driver to the author's vehicle. Okay, he stops. The author here is attracted towards the fruits, and he wanted to buy the fruits here. But it was interrupted by his driver not to buy the fruits, because they get still better fresh fruits in the city, he says. That is Verona. Besides these boys, he shrugged his shoulders to convey his disapproval of their shabby appearance. The driver, Loogie, he shrugs his body as if he feels bad by looking at the dress that was worn by these boys. They were shabby, old and torn dress. Okay, and this is for his disapproval of buying these fruits here. Then one boy had on our own jersey. Now the author describes the way they were dressed and the physical appearances of these two young boys here. Yes, one boy had on our own jersey and cut off khaki pants. The other, a shortened army tunic gathered in loose folds about his skinny frame. So both the boys wore these kinds of dresses there. Yet gazing at the two little figures with their brown skins, tangled hair and dark earnest eyes, we felt ourselves strangely attracted. My companion spoke to the boys, discovered that they were brothers. Nicola, the elder, was 13. So then we have the next character, Nicola, elder brother, whose age was 13 years. And the second one, Jacopo, who barely came up to the door handle of the car, was nearly 12. We bought their biggest basket, then set off toward. Yes, then we have Jacopo. younger and who is 12 years of age. And the author's ear had bought one basket full of fruits from these boys. Yes, see, when they observed their dress and the attitude and the physical appearances, the author was pleased to buy the fruits from these boys, these small boys, and they were attracted by the author here. Meanwhile, the author bought their biggest basket, then they went on towards Verona, the city called Verona here. Now, Verona is a lovely city, rich in history, with quiet medieval streets and splendid buildings of an exquisite pale honey color. So, as we have already discussed about the beauty of the city, historically famous for its own way of streets, the medieval period streets, and the grand buildings of an exquisite pale, very beautiful, bright, pale, honey-colored buildings. The buildings were all in one color, that is the same color, pale honey color. And Romeo and Juliet are reputed to have lived there. Bombed in the recent war, it has lost its bridges, but not its gaiety or charm. Yes. As in the war, it was bombed by the German regiments, and the many bridges of the city were collapsed or destroyed by these bombings and all. And our famous characters called Romeo and Juliet have been famous, and still they are, and the world remembers them for their pure eternal love, and they are supposed to live in the city called Verona. So these are the qualities of the Verona here. Even though it became victim of war, the city, still the buildings were in the same way, and they were famous and they were beautiful. Then the charm and gaiety of the buildings was never gone. And next morning, coming out of our hotel, we drew up short. There, bent over shoeshine boxes beside the fountain in the public square, doing a brisk business with our two young friends of the previous afternoon. Okay, this over. They bought they sold the fruits on the outskirts of Verona, and then again they have come to the city, and in the middle of the city there is a square, where a public square, where the fountain in the public square, and they were busy in polishing the shoes of the people in that place. And the author and his driver, they went out, coming out of the hotel, and they drove up to that very short distance. So they came to that square where they have seen these boys polishing the shoes early morning there. Boxes beside the fountain in the public square, doing a brisk business, were out two young friends of the previous afternoon. So the day before yesterday, so the previous day, they have seen afternoon, they saw these boys selling the fruits, and now in the morning, next day morning, so they saw them polishing the shoes. See, listen here. So first, they sold fruits. They sold fruits. Next, it is shining the shoes. shining the shoes. Okay, so this is the first one. And second thing, the author and his driver noticed the boys were serious in shining or polishing the shoes here. Okay, then in the fountain in the public, okay, square there. We watched for a few moments. Then, as streets slackened, we went over. They greeted us with friendly faces. Then after that, when they were watching these two boys in that square, so they saw them, these two boys saw the author and the driver, and they wished them, greeted them with smiling face, okay, friendly, they greeted them. I thought you picked fruit for a living, I said. The author says that. ಸೊ ಬಹುಶಃ ನೀವು ಕೇವಲ ಹಣ್ಣು ಮಾರೋದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದ ಆಥರ್ asked the boys. We do many things, sir, Nicola answered seriously. So the elder one answers back to the author here that they were doing many things for their livelihood, good or for leading the life as such. And we do many things, so Nicola answered seriously. He glanced at us hopefully. Often we show visitors through the town to Juliet's tomb and other places of interest. And they too are also, guiding the people as guides. Visitors, you can say, guiding the visitors to that particular place. And this is the third work they used. So they do take the visitors, new visitors who have come to as tourist visitors, and they used to get the guide in order to know the city as such. So they were also doing the job of guide, so to show the people, whatever the things that were famous in that place called this one. And often they show the visitors through the town, okay, wherever there were places, beautiful places, and also Juliet's tomb and other places which are very much interested or beautiful as such. So this is also done by these people here. So now these two young boys of 13 and 12 years old, they sell fruits, shine the shoes, and guiding the visitors. Okay, then, and all these things were now new to the Lugi here, and the author also along with this one. Okay. Then, all right, I smiled. You take us along. Okay, so smilingly, with the happy, the author asked these boys, so, show us the place also. And they got a new job again here, the boys. Okay, all right, I smile, you take us along. Okay, us also, okay, to see or watch the places of interest in and around Verona. As we made the rounds, my interest was again provoked by their remarkable demeanor. They were childish enough and in many ways quite artless. Jacopo, although his lips were paler than they should have been, was lively as a squirrel. Then these boys decided, and as per their request, they took them, okay, to show the city and the places of interest around the city here. So, as he was really, interested and provoked by their remarkable demeanor, their appearance and the interest that these boys shown towards them, and the way they talked with them, so made the author, understand they are childish enough, but quite artless, and even the smaller boy, that is Jacopo, so his lips were paler, and they look as if they were tired, but even then, so he was lively as a squirrel. He looks as if he's as lively as a squirrel as such. Then Nicola's smile was steady and engaging. So he looks childish. Who? Jacopo. Because he is a smaller one. Maybe he was getting weaker, duller, since he was a small one. But Nicola, being an elder brother, and he has more responsibility here, and he was a bit serious there. His smile was steady and engaging, yet in both these boys' faces there was a seriousness which one respected, an air of purpose for far beyond their years. So, when this author observes these two boys, and he found a kind of seriousness among these people. And even anybody who observes their seriousness and their hardworking nature, so they will respect. And an air of purpose far beyond their years. And the purpose or the belief that one should have from these boys is, though they look very young, very less age, in such a small age, they are doing wonder. They are doing hard work, and they are very much serious about life. These things made the people, feel respect, feel proud of these boys. So this is the nature of these two boys, and whoever who knows well, who can study, by observing these faces, they could really respect these boys here. In the week which followed, we saw them frequently. Imagine, boys, students, see the age here. So if you calculate this age, I think the things that they are doing, the work that they are doing is really an extraordinary one. In such a small age, 13 and 12 years of age, they have taken life most serious. They are most serious about their life here. And they never look as if they are weak or pale, or they don't want to show these things, dull appearances to the people here. Since they are very much serious and hardworking about their life, and they have, to come out of their problems as such, is much liked by the readers as well as the people who come to know about these two boys here. Then in the week which followed, we saw them frequently, for they proved extremely useful to us. If we wanted a pack of American cigarettes, or seats for the opera, or the name of a good restaurant that could provide good ravioli, Nicola and Jacopo could be relied upon to satisfy our needs with their usual cheerful competence. See, this is what the boys doing here. Whenever they come across these boys, and throughout this journey, where they were taken by these two boys to show or to go around the important places around Verona, they look really very much useful to these people here. Whenever they want the American cigarettes, which are rare in the city, they used to provide them. And whenever they want seats for the opera whenever they want to watch any movie or play and entertainment. They used to buy the tickets and seats for these people. And if they wanted to eat a good quality of ravioli, these boys would mention and show them a good restaurant to have it. And these two boys could be relied upon to satisfy on every want or need of this author, were solved and supplied by these people. If they wanted to rely on anybody in the city, that is these two boys here. And with their usual cheerful competence, my dear students, they always looks cheerful. And the cheerful with the competence, that is what these boys have here. The very willingness to work here and the seriousness towards the work or the life here is very much studied and observed here. The author could make out that these boys are cheerful enough and they are hardworking and they are very much serious about their life here. Then moving on to the next paragraph, what struck one most was their unremitting willingness to work during these summer days. So, see in the next paragraph we see that the boys are of very much hard-working nature, and what struck one most was their unremitting willingness to work. Unremitting willingness to work. Isn't the boys had the quality of unremitting willingness to work. This is what a special willingness, and this is what the special quality that these boys are having here. So during such an age, unremitting willingness to work. So the author found in these two boys this characteristic feature. Which struck one most was their unremitting willingness to work during these summer days under the hot sun and in the long evenings when the air blew chill from the mountains. They shined shoes, sold fruits, hawked newspapers, conducted tourist rounds. The town ran errands, exploited every avenue which the troubled economy of the town left open to them. Yes. And one more thing you have to remember here is the town was victimized to the war here. And people lost their jobs due to the bombardment of the city. The bridges and other things have collapsed and destroyed by the war. Everybody in the city have lost their jobs. They became unemployed. And there is an economical crisis in the city. And it was a summer, hot sunny days. These boys are working very hard here. And the city was completely open to these boys, but not to others, because people are afraid of the attack of Germans and became victims to this war. So the total economy of the city was disturbed. troubled. There were no much transactions in the city, economic transactions in the city, but for these boys, it has become open to them. See what happens here? Along with this job, fruits, selling fruits, shining, polishing the shoes, hot newspapers, newspapers, conducted tourist rounds. See, these are the things. Conducted tourist rounds. Then ran errands. They never left any corner of this city. Ran errands. Exploited every avenue. Exploited every avenue. Every avenue of the city here, Verona. So these were the things. They sold fruits, shined the shows, hawked newspapers, conducted tourist rounds in the town, ran errands, and they have exploited every corner of the city. So this is how these two boys were working here. Why I am explaining these two things repeatedly is that is where you have to observe and find out how hardworking these boys are, and which are going to become helpful for us to answer the questions within these important. We may get or can guess the questions on these parts here. Jacopo and Nicola. And it is this is very important here. And you can imagine what were the boys doing in Verona. All these things. So make a note of it, like point wise. You need not write neatly with full complete sentences as such. You can make points while reading here, or even listening or watching the clippings here. Then one night we came upon them in the windy and deserted square. And what was the season and the atmosphere in the city during that time? Because it is a summer season. Look at this. It is a very summer season. And you can imagine summer season and the hot sun. Under the hot sun, they are working without a rest here. And in the long evenings, when the air blew chill from the mountains, they shined shoes. And during evenings and early in the mornings, they used to shine the shoes. So this are the qualities or the business with these two boys, where the two authors, the two visitors to that particular place, Verona, observe and get helped by these tourist people. But one day, what happens here? One night, Arthur and his driver gets a chance of visiting these people or observing these boys late in the night. See what happens there. One night we came upon them in the windy and deserted square, resting on the stone pavement beneath the pale arc lights. Nicola sat upright, his face drawn by fatigue. A bundle of unsold newspapers lay at his feet, while Jacopo, his head pillowed upon his brother's shoulder, was asleep, and it was nearly midnight. Imagine. It was a deserted place. So windy, so much windy. And these two boys were sitting on the pavement, and Jacopo was almost sleeping on his brother's shoulder. He laid his head back, and Jacopo was sitting and waiting for something there. And he was asleep, and it was nearly midnight. Means the bundle of newspapers were there, means they went there to sell newspapers. And it was almost midnight. Imagine 13 and 12 years old boys having newspapers bundled with them, and went to such a place, a very deserted a square there, and it was too windy on that night, and they sat on a stone pavement beneath a pale arc lights, street lights that are there, and Nicola was sitting upright, where Jacopo, a smaller one, was sleeping by making its brother's shoulder as pillow. And it was very late in the night, means it was almost a midnight. Then the author inquires with these boys there, "Why are you out so late, Nicola?" He had started sharply as I spoke, but now he gave me his quiet, independent glance. The author asked, "Why are you here so late in the night?" And the boy Nicola gave an independent glance to the author, and he replied, "Waiting for the last bus from Padua. We shall sell our papers when it comes in." Yes, they wanted to sell their papers, and it was a place called, the bus was yet to come from Padua. Imagine or remember the name here. Waiting for the bus, from where the bus is coming is this. Really, maybe a place. Okay, clearly, straightforwardly, he answered the author here, okay, that they were waiting for the last bus from Padua. So when it comes here, so we are selling our papers every day here. So this is their job there. Must you keep it so hard? You both look rather tired. The author, with a concern, he asked him, see, it looks as if you are working very hard. But by this time you both look very tired. Why can't you take a rest? So you are doing very hard work. Okay, you look very tired. Then the boy replied, we are not complaining, sir. So they were in such a situation that they can't explain their condition to anybody here. And they never wish to explain about their personal feelings or information to the author here. So to whom to say that they are tired, that they want comforts in their life? So nobody is there. So he answered them that they can't do anything, and we have nobody to complain. And we are not complaining, sir. See how polite this boy was. And imagine the way he answered the author here. And he never ever explain or say anything about their pain or hard work, their tiresome, nothing. They go on working as they find time with them. And these are the routine jobs that they were doing every day. It is not of one day. Every day the regular job or the duty that they perform, all these. Imagine. Then look at the conversation ahead here. We are not complaining, sir. His tone, while perfectly polite, discouraged further inquiry. So the tone when he says so, that we are not complaining, sir, it was a perfect politeness. And the author never ever want to ask any other word or a question to these boys. And he never tried to inquire any further. So he think that may become a discouragement to these boys. So he don't want to discourage them. He don't want to ask any more things to these boys on such a spot there, when he had an answer like this. But next morning when I went over to the fountain to have my shoes shined, I said, Nicola, the way you and Jacopo work, you must earn quite a bit. You spend nothing on clothes, you eat little enough, and I see you having a meal, it's usually black bread and figs. Tell me, what do you do with your money? Okay, after this. So he never feel like disturbing them by asking any more questions here. And he thought that he understands himself that if I ask anything or further any questions, so it may discourage these boys, because they look very serious in these matters. He understood, and they are very much mature to know about all these things, and they were doing it because the author may notice or may think that so maybe it is their position. or the economical position that may be forcing these boys to do. So once they have decided to do things like this, so it's not a good matter or a good thing for me to further inquiring them further anything about like that. So he stopped there, and again he went home, and these boys sold the papers when the bus came from Padua and went to their place here. So this is what we found in this. So my dear students, imagine think about the age of these two boys here, and the way they were busy, continuously working very hard here, makes us really feel very bad here. I think the time has come to stop. Thank you. I will continue the remaining in the next class.